And Mr. Paul the cat, he's live. We are now live with Mr. Paul the cat, sleeping like a little baby. Hey, everybody. Hope everything's all right. Let me check if everything is okay on my side. This is okay. Mr. Paul knows it's live now. And Mr. Paul, yes. Mr. Paul saying, yeah, I'm taking it easy now. It's a live show. So, hey, everybody. Welcome aboard. Hope you are well and hope that everything's going fine. Moving this here and okay. So, welcome aboard, everybody. This is another live show as we're starting now. And here we go. And next week, there's going to be a change here. I'm going to explain that a little in a little time. So here we go. In a week's time, this here is going to be different, as I will have my 50-inch TV here as my new 70-inch TV is going to arrive in the living room, apparently on Monday, according to Amazon. So this is going to be nice. And, of course, everything is connected through my console for, if I want to show everybody what I'm listening to, I'll be able to do so thanks to the console. And so I can listen to my Texan PL 990. And I can listen to my my PC SDR. So this is going to be nice. I'm just going to put my cable. So this is what's on my Texan PL 990. (3330) CHU. And hello, everyone. Welcome aboard. And we've got a visitor. Come on. Ellie, get that. Mr. Paul. He hasn't said hello to everybody in a long time. So I'm going to get the beer out of the way. And Mr. Paul, he's here saying hello as he was sleeping, but 2 times today. I don't know if something different, but he's been kind of very cuddly today and asking for my my presence all the time. So hope that he's nothing bad. So hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. This is the radio show, the Shortwave Show. We are live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And we are here twice a week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 0 hours Universal Time. And that's Thursday for a lot of people. And Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 20 hours Universal Time. And that Universal Time is very important to remember because there's going to be a change soon. We're going to change our clocks. But the show is always at the same time UTC. That's what you need to look, not local time, because local time will change. Local time will be 1 hour difference, but UTC never changes. UTC is always at the same time. So that's just one thing to remember. We'll be at UTC. Yes, Mr. Paul, I love you too. And so we are, of course, twice a week talking about radio, shortwave radio in general, anything radio. And it's It is really nice to be here and to talk about radio as always. We'll talk about the Chinese jammer. We didn't have time to actually. We were so nostalgic last show that we didn't really get into it. I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. Talk about the upcoming changes to the schedule also. Remember that this coming Sunday, we're going to be at the B20 schedule season. That means schedules are going to change. So it's very important to know that. And this is, of course, the time of the year where we're lost for a little while because we don't really know where the schedules and the stations, our preferred stations, are. So hope that we can find. And I'll have a series of videos. Somebody was asking me, is they haven't done that in a while, a series of videos of your favorite picks for, a schedule season. And yep, I will be doing that. Okay, Paul, we'll be checking the airwaves together. How about it? Meow. Yeah. Okay. He wants. So nice to have everybody here. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. This is northeast part of North America. And of course, we are here to entertain and have Paul do the show for tonight. So we talk about radio, and I'm in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Like I said, northeast part of North America. We have a fantastic, very fantastic group of people in the chat. So if you have a Gmail account, you can actually interact with everybody. And this is fun because it's the place where all of this is really amazing. And we, of course, have a Facebook group. So once this is over, well, everybody heads on to the Facebook group because what happens is we continue, sharing over there. And there's a lot of posts every day of people sharing what they're listening to, radios they want to buy, people asking questions, and really, really a lot of fun to have that around with amazing people that are just there to help. Nothing bad like an idiot that's trying to tell everybody he's better than everybody else. We don't want that. We want to have regular people helping regular folks and just having fun with our hobby. And that's what the Facebook group, that's what this group also here in the chat room is all about. It's a great bunch of people that just want to help each other. So welcome aboard, everybody. Hope you enjoy. And I will now sneeze because Paul is here. Sorry, guys. This is always a little moment when I pet Paul the cat, thanks to allergies, but that are somewhat controlled. Nice to have everybody here, by the way, on this Wednesday show. It's 14 Celsius outside. It's been a little warmer. We're going to reach 70 Fahrenheit. This is, October for you. On Friday, we're going to be at about 75 Fahrenheit, 23, 24 Celsius. But Sunday to Monday, the forecast is snow showers. And it's going to be like -3 in the night and Celsius, and about 4 or 5 degrees Celsius in the daytime. So that's like, 27, 28 Fahrenheit in the nighttime, barely above 32 in the 30s in the daytime. That's October for you, and this is the way it is. In Montreal at this time of year, very gray. It's been very gray for the past 2-3 days. We haven't had, we had a few sunny days, but not that much. It's kind of gray, rainy, and kind of cool. So it's like, it's kind of cool. So hey everybody, hope you're enjoying the show today. And of course, we're going to talk about radio with Mr. Paul the Cat, that hasn't been here so present in the show for such a long time. I do have a beer. I think it's maybe frozen a little bit. So it's a lune de miel. Lune de miel, which means in English, honeymoon. So this is a 7, what is that? It's 8% beer. So it's part of the package that I purchased for one beer every show. So we're going to open that up and see what it does. Let's hope Paul the cat isn't too impressed or scared with it. I will hold on to the cork because last beer was pretty intense. So anything here? Not yet. Not yet. So I'm going to hold on to the cork because last time, you guys didn't see it last time, but man. And let's see how it goes. Here goes. And I can't open it compared to the other one, which was opening easily. This one is not opening easily. I can't. I still haven't recovered fully from my injuries when I smacked the guy. So let's see if I can do something here. Oh man, this is impossible to open like last time. I will need my wise grips. Oh God, this is very tough to open. See, yeah, I can do it. Mr. Paul wondering what I'm doing. Okay, I can't open it. You guys are gonna laugh like last time. Man, I can't open it. Okay, can't open the beer. This is the guy's nightmare. Last time was the other way around. I almost received it in the face because if I didn't have the hand over it, it was like it just flew off. Mr. Paul, can you fetch me the wrench, please? That's what I used last time, the famous wrench. Let me check. Do I have something that I could use right here to open the beer? Nope. Oh, God. Yeah, I would like to use pliers or something, but Mr. Paul is on my lap. So how about we'll wait till Mr. Paul gets off. And when Mr. Paul gets off, I'll open the beer with the tools I have over there. So sorry, guys. But anyways, welcome aboard, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Bobby Burgess, WA5107 SWL in Morgan City, Louisiana, USA. Nice to have you here. Ekadarius, nice to have you on board, my friend. Randall Klontz, nice to have you here from Chicago. David Branscombe, nice to have you on board. I have to leave for work, so sorry about that. It's those unfortunate moments, but hope you have a great one. Matt from Colorado, nice to have you here. From Denver, nice to have you on board. Prasad, nice to have you here. From India, always nice to have you on board. I saw your post today about that station in Taiwan, but I think what you were listening to was possibly CNR1 jammer from China, because they are on all of those frequencies jamming away. So, yes, Mr. Paul, any problems? Anything not right? Look at that little kitty. Huh? Yes, we love each other. It's love at first sight. Rob in Phoenix, Arizona, nice to have you here. iBrawler, nice to have you here. From Arkansas. William Helms from Florida. Shitty Pyro 90, nice to have you here. Kamaxi 1976 from Michigan. Old Radiomon, nice to have you here from Northeast Tennessee. Joe Tyson from North Carolina, KM4WRQ. Ray Carlisi, nice to have you here, Ray. What else do we have? SoCal, nice to have you here from San Diego. Estrella Garcia, nice to have you on board. Maria 330. Patrick Manny, nice to have you on board. We have KW 1161, nice to have you here from Tucson, Arizona. Joseph Eckenbaum, nice to have you here from the San Francisco Bay Area, California. Listening to some Chinese tunes on 15600. Lots of Chinese signals lately. It's that time of year, and the fact that we have a little higher solar flux than usual is also changing things a lot. So it's kind of nice to see all of these Asian signals coming in. WF7I Ombru, nice to have you here from Virginia. Jeff Barry, nice to have you here. Joe Pecci, nice to have you here from Newmarket, Virginia. We have KW1171 says that Voice of Radio Greece booming in on 9420. You know what? Let's check that out. 9420. Enter. Paul wants to enter it for me, but we'll see if it's there. Whoops, wrong one. This is the computer. This is a computer. I've got nothing, but I'm not sure I'm on 9420. Whoops, sorry, Paul. Yeah, I am on 9420. It's very there's really nothing much there. Coming in. What else do we have? Solkoff, Dream Decode, DRM decoder working, but DRM here on the West Coast, no DRM. Yeah, and the problem, even if you have DRM, it needs to be rock solid and super strong, or else it just doesn't work. So I want to go back to your chair, man. I'm going to be able to go and fetch tools to actually get my beer open. So, Mr. Paul, while I fetch the tools for the beer, let's hope they're not too far away. I need tools to open the beer. Trying to find my tools. Why the hell are my tools not in the box? They're not here. Okay, I'll try have another go at it with my hand. Oh, maybe. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna have it. I think my hand is a little stronger now. So I'll put it like this. Like this. Okay, let's try it again. There we go. I think I'm gonna have it. Yeah, here we go. Ta-da! I needed to do a little exercise on my hand. So here we have the beer. Finally, honeymoon or lune de miel. Finally open. Here we go. So this is the beer, lune de miel from Unibrew, the same company that makes Fin du Monde or Don de Dieu, gift from God. So cheers, everybody. Ah, man. Finally opened the beer. It's sad because when I was attacked, I hit the guy real good. My hand has not come back 100%. It's probably barely 50 to 60% force that I had before. So I have a hard time. I used to be the king of. Everybody would say, "Hey, open that jar. You got the strong hands." And now I'm like, nope, I won't be able to open it. Find some way to open it because I know I'm not going to be able. And that's the sad part of that attack that I had several months ago. And even when I close my hand, the knuckles, there's a little something that kind of hurts a little bit, unfortunately. So anyways, enough talk. And let's continue here. Todd the Xer, WPE2QED. Nice to have you here from Hudson Valley, New York. Watching the World Series. Oh, reminds me of the Expos being at the World Series before that big strike happened. Man, I was so sad that time when the Montreal Expos could have been the winner. And unfortunately, that strike happened. And what do you know next? The next year, well, we didn't have a team anymore. That was so sad. So sad. Jeff Barry, nice to have you here. KW1161 says here in Tucson, we always stay on standard time. Well, here, if everything works out, we're going to change time on November 1st. And we're going to change our time at the end of March. And if everything works out right, the end of March change will be the last ever we will have. And we will stay at the Eastern Daylight Time forever. So let's cross our fingers that it actually happens. I think it would be nice. The only problem is in Montreal. That means then in December, January, the sun will like rise at 9 a.m. A lot of people will be going. Anyways, a lot of people still go to work in the darkness. So, who cares if it's 9 a.m.? I get up at 9:30. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be dark until 9:30. Rufus Newt from Laurentian Valley, Ontario. Nice to have you on board. Chuck Yunkin, nice to have you here. Yeah, he's a great cat. He's actually one of the great cats. And he is a big boy, William Helms. Absolutely. It's pretty big. 22 pounds, actually. I need to find a way to put him on a diet. Dave Belil. Nice to have you here, Dave Belil. New Hampshire, WA1UJA. Nice to have you here. Matt says, I keep old EIBI schedules saved. I found that referring to the A19 schedule and the start of A20, for example, usually has the same information. Not always, but it's good enough. Yeah, stations try to get the same frequencies year after year, and that absolutely is something interesting. Some music, 6930. Let's check that out. 6930. Anything here? Anything here? Nope. There's that famous Kodar, not Kodar, but that famous link, NATO link something on 6942, but nothing on 6930. Yes, I am wearing his blanket usually. It was so funny because he took the other shirt, the wool shirt that I have, and I ended up having no shirt because both were now full of cat hair. So it's like, okay, I'm going to clean this one today so I can actually wear something. This, like right now, I might not need it, but in the morning when you wake up, it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun to have something to wear to stay warm. Salut TVDXer, nice to have you here. Bonjour et bienvenue. Ça va très bien. Cole, nice to have you here. Thankfully, we're cooling off in Texas. I envy cold weather and snow. Yeah, when I see the 100-degree weather, it's like, nah, I don't want to go through that. I'm already have enough, and most of the time, I'm very fed up of the really warm summer we have here. People tell me, yeah, well, it's fun, it's summer. It's like, no, 90-degree weather is fun when you're at the beach or at the pool. It's not fun when you just want to do some outdoor activities. I'm sorry, I'm not there. So that's a difference, So this is the period I'm happy, and I'm very happy, honestly. So cheers, Matt. Brian, I've never seen a wine-sized beer bottle sealed and a cork before. Yep. There are quite a few of those. you're probably not a big, maybe probably not a big beer drinker, or specialized beer drinker, because you could be a big beer drinker but never seen those. Those are pretty frequent here, and usually a lot of craft beers come in actually these corked bottles. So it depends on the beer that you purchase. I like more specialized beer rather than I don't like Budweiser or Molson products or whatever. If you're gonna if I go to some place and they give me a Budweiser, I'm not gonna complain. I mean, fine, I'll drink whatever you have, but you'll never ever see a Budweiser bottle here. Never, never. So Jet Crafter, nice to have you here from Maine. um, what else do we have? What else do we have? Let me go down here. Okay. Matt says have had one of those. You have to be careful removing a cork, or it will be off like a bullet. Yeah, the last one I had in the last show, when I removed the metal holder, because this is actually a metal holder to make sure the cork doesn't go off. I just removed this and the cork just flew off. I almost received it in the face. I was holding it just a little bit. So I was so surprised. And this one was like the opposite. This one was like, man, it's stuck there. Depends on the type of beer, also, for sure. Rick Satter, nice to have you here, Rick from Milwaukee. What else do we have? James Johnson, nice to have you on board from Florida. Randall Adley, RJDA Dakota, nice to have you here. WA0113SWL. With Oscar the cat. So lots of cats. There's something about radio and cats that seem to go well together. Even Tinney, nice to have you here, even from Northeast Texas. James Johnson says, man, the skip on single sideman 11 meter was awesome Saturday. Stayed up till 3 a.m. Wow, cool. That's a lot of fun when you do that. Cyber Flyer 1, when something unusual happens on the radio and you just can't go to bed. It's like, no, I'm staying up. I'm having too much fun listening to this right now. It's always cool. Sidvic, nice to have you on board from Gander, Newfoundland, Canada. John McClure from Eastern Iowa. Cyber Flyer 1 from the UK. And yep, Joe Paul is super interested in what's happening tonight. I think it's because of maybe Chinese, all the Chinese jamming going on. Rob says, Mr. Paul, the cat is happy to take your seat, Joel. Yes, he is. Absolutely. James Johnson on shortwave also got a station in Mongolia, play an hour dedicated to Evie Van Halen. Wow. Okay. Carlos Aguila, nice to have you here, Carlos. They say the pets absorb the aura of their misters. He's super chill. Yeah, he's look, a friend of mine that has a couple of cats came over last year, and I remember there was like a lot of people here. There was maybe like 10, 12 people, and Paul the cat is the kind of cat that if there's 15 people here, he's not going to go hide. He wants to meet everybody. He's like around and he's in the party like all of us. And he looks at me, and my friend looks at me and says, your cat is so chill. I said, well, he's like the owner. It's like, party time, chill, just relaxing, having fun with friends. What else do we have? Rennie Arcobelano. Baleno. Nice to have you here. Arcobaleno. Sorry if I mess up on the names. Cole says, oh man, that sucks. Jetcrafter newbie antenna question. If I attach a random length of wire to a tree and string it into the window, are shortwave signals directional? Does it matter if I string it north, south, east, west? For short lengths of wire, it doesn't matter. You will want to actually put it in the lowest noise, actually. What you'll want to do is simply install it in different directions and see where you have the lowest noise. That will be the thing you want to do. Because for short lengths of wire, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet, there's really not much of a directional pattern there. And what happens is that they really what you're looking like the MLA30, when people ask, is it directional? It's like, yeah, just put it in the direction where you have the least amount of noise. The rest doesn't matter. It's really that's important. Lower the noise, the maximum amount of noise possible. The rest, still, Matt, wow, your hand's still hurting? Yep, absolutely. Hey, I hit him hard. I mean, the guy was the guy almost fell on his ass and was really, really like. But unfortunately, my hand is not gonna come back. I'm kind of now to the point where I understand that my hand will never come back 100% like it was before. So, it's better, much better. It has a lot more strength, but my hand will never come like it was before. So, like I said, for Jetcrafter, small, less than 100 feet of wire. Doesn't matter the direction. Like I said, just put it in a way where you have the least amount of noise. And that's where it's going to be the direction. Shitty Power 90, what happened to the attackers? No, didn't get caught because there's not enough, there's not enough proof or anything, and nobody saw anything except me. So, there's nothing we can do. Plus, of course, it's the perfect time to attack somebody because now with face masks, they were so happy to wear their face masks when they tried to attack. Which, it's like, yeah, I'm sure the kind of idiots that wear a face mask to attack somebody at night. But you probably don't want to wear it when you go to the grocery store, Kind of the idiots they are, probably. Matt says, 1994 baseball strikes. We got Larry Walker here in Colorado after that season. I'll always remember that I was listening every single day to the Expos match on CKAC, which was the official baseball station, 730 kilohertz in Montreal. With a guy was called Roger Brulette. He was the guy that was so into it every time the Expos, the games were on, and I was listening to every match and getting them and seeing them that they were getting closer and closer and closer and closer, and I was like so excited and so amazed. And one of the rare times when we actually filled the Olympic Stadium with like 50,000 people to watch a baseball game. That was the time. And then the darn strike, and we lost our team. That was so sad. So sad. Carlos Aguida, I got my shortwave radio XH data, and why is it that 99.9% of the time I use squelch, it just raises the noise level? Isn't it like supposed to lower the noise level? Well, squelch isn't there to lower the noise. Squelch is there to simply remove the reception part. So a squelch on a receiver is made to, when there's nothing on a frequency, to just go quiet. That's scanner radios use that a lot, because on VHF, UHF, you're scanning frequencies. You'll put the squelch threshold just barely to where you don't hear the static anymore, and you'll let it scan, for example, and it's gonna, when there's communication, it's gonna break through. Squelch isn't used on shortwave. We never use the squelch on shortwave because shortwave is very different. First of all, squelch because squelch isn't there to lower the noise. It's there to mute it. That's all. And when a signal breaks through, it unmutes. It's not meant to be used on shortwave because signals fade in and out all the time. So it's a squelch is more annoying on shortwave than anything else, because since the signals fade out, fade in, squelch will prevent you from listening to the station when it gets weaker. Actually, the squelch is there only for airband, because the airband you can scan the airband or listening to the airports. That's why there's a squelch functionality. But squelch is not made to be used on shortwave ever on any radio. Nick Mayakovsky, nice to have you on board. Bonjour. Yogi, nice to have you here. Meow to Paul the cat. Jerry DX, nice to have you on board, my friend. Rufus Newt, in the winter, I go to work in the dark, come home in the dark. Yeah, that was when I. That reminds me of when I had a regular, normal job like everybody. I would December, January was you go to work in the darkness, come back to work, come back home in the darkness, pretty much. Rusty Rails from Central Arkansas. Nice to have you here. VT Radio. Yes, this weekend, absolutely. Is the CQ Worldwide DXSSB contest. This is an amazing contest. If you like amateur radio, if you like, I just got distracted for a second about something. Then I want to check out. Yeah, okay, that works. Just wanted to see something because I moved some of the stuff here, and I was wondering if. Okay, it works. I was wondering if I not knocked over something or a connector on my antenna, because I did a lot of work on the antenna. So anyways, this weekend, CQ Worldwide DXSSB contest is a lot of fun because there's a lot of stations going to be on the air, on the ham bands. It's that time when you can hear tons and tons of countries you never or very rarely hear on the band. So it's really a lot of fun to listen to. And so, yeah, absolutely. From 0 hours Universal Time, UT Saturday, that's Friday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern here in North America, all the way to 23:59 Universal Time on Sunday. You will be listening to tons of stations from all over the world. So Matt says, I want to get one last fallback hour, then we can stop changing the clocks. Well, actually, I want to spring forward before they do, for a very simple reason, Matt. If they fall back, so if the time change on November 1st would be the last one, in the summer evening, we're not going to get sunshine until up to the 9:30 p.m. time here. The sunshine is gonna, the sun's gonna set at 8:30, 8 p.m. instead of 9. So summer evening going to be kind of weird to have the sunset an hour earlier. So I rather we stay in the daylight shifting time, as Glenn Hauser calls it, and that we have that extra hour in the evening. Even in the winter is going to be nice, because here in the winter the sun sets at 4 p.m. With us staying on daylight shifting time, the sun's going to set at 5 p.m. even in December. It's going to be kind of nice to have that extra hour in the evening. So that's why I want us to stay in daylight savings times, not stay in standard time. Hecadarius, see you later. Stay safe. Randall Atley says, we tried the DST thing back in the energy crisis of the 70s. I was going to school in the dark. So many people were complaining about it, that the powers be put it back the other way. Yeah. Here, there's no reason. Honestly, there's no darn reason to do this anymore. Come on. Nick Mayakovsky, the sun would rise in Detroit after 9 a.m. December 21st, but who cares about Detroit? A lot of people care about Detroit. It would be the same here in Montreal. The sun, here in Montreal, the sun rises at I think it's something like 7:45 a.m. Normally. Um, but with daylight shifting time, it would be 8:45 a.m. So it's crazy. WF7I Homebrew, total agreement on the temperatures. Fall, winter, and early spring are my favorite times. Not a fan of muggy hot summer at all. It's so funny because there's so many people that tell me, well, you are a weird guy not liking summer. And I said, it's not summer that I don't like. You're getting it wrong. I hate the really hot days, which is almost dominant and always very hot in Montreal, anyways, in July and August. I said, I hate that. I stay home in the air conditioning because I hate the heat. And I said, if summer would be 80 Fahrenheit, not really more than that, 80 Fahrenheit, around, 27 Celsius, all summer, I wouldn't complain. I'd be happy. I like summer. I like going out, not wearing. I was about to say I like going out, not wearing clothes. Well, I do wear clothes, but I mean, not wearing a jacket or something. One of those phrases that comes up in your head. You're like, well, you're not going to say to everybody you're going out in the summertime without any clothes on. um, it's so you don't wear a heavy jacket. It's nicer. You go out in shorts and short pants and just enjoy on the t-shirt. And I love that. That I like. But when it goes to 90 and it's super muggy, I hate that. I want to stay home in the air conditioning, make more videos. People are have the wrong impression. So, when people say, you don't like summer? Nope. I wish we would jump from May to September. Let's jump over the rest. But of course, being 90 degrees when you're at the beach, when you're at the swimming pool, of course, that's perfect weather because 80 at the beach is a little cold. 90 is perfect at the beach because it's like you just go in the water when you're hot. That is perfect. So, we should have a zone of beach 90-degree weather. And outside of the beach and pool zone, it's 80 max. And so, I just hate that because here this summer was so hot. We started getting some heat in May and it wouldn't stop. We were in the 90s plus all the time. We beat records. We beat so many heat records this summer. I hate that. I'm sorry. It's not that I hate summer. I just hate when it's too hot. That I can't anymore. So, I'm happy at this time of year. And I like snow, I like winter. So I'm one of those weird guys probably because I don't have a car to take care of. um I like winter and I like, this is perfect. Starting now until M- May of next year, I'm happy camper. And I like snow. I like snow storms. So, what else do we have? Michael Sauter, nice to have you on board. Likes Moosehead. His favorite beers. Jerry DX, Halloween cancel in Toronto. Not here in Quebec. Here in Quebec, it's going to go on. They're just telling everybody to do it in a social distancing way. Kids will not be able to go out trick or treating with friends. They have to stay with family. So it's kind of a complex and such a weird thing, anyways. Got to tell you. Michael W. Nice to have you here. TVDXer. Do you get Hop City barking squirrel in Quebec? I've never seen that. Never seen that. I have to go and see if it's available here or not. Joe says Radio Romania strong in Virginia on 7375. Let's check it out here. 7375. Enter. Do we have Romania?
2008 with funding from the Solar Foundation speaks volumes about the issue. It is one of the
It's
Studies
better
to
on
closely look
6040.
into the integration of the Roma into the larger population and finds that the more a person is part of traditional culture, the less they are integrated in society in terms of employment. It is a sad situation, which
So that's from the
unfortunately
RSP here. Let's hear it from my Texan PL990.
it may provide an explanation for the crime situation as seen from Western European
So
countries.
this is from the Texan
Visits by high
PL990X.
European executive officials may help, but they do not address the core issue. Laws such as the overhauled law of education aimed at reforming.
You can see that the frequency response is better on the Texan PL990X. Jeff King, nice to have you on board, my friend. James Johnson, nice to have you here. Sorry. Nick Mayakovsky, I have so many hoodies and Christmas sweaters. I need enough time in the year to wear them all. Thomas Kitts, nice to have you on board from Michigan. JDA Dakota, I saw space weather earlier and there's even a sunspot. Yeah, even rose the solar flux rose. I think it was Monday. It was at 76. I had not seen that in such a long time. Joseph Hickenbaum, some physical therapy might help. Yeah, I know. PageMaster, Deep Space Network, Goldstone dish number 14, receiving Voyager 1. While Canberra dish number 43, receiving, is transmitting to Voyager 2. Cool. TVDX or not, never. We know they're Latino type by the talk, but never did. Never did. Yeah, Jetcrafter. Least amount of noise is what you want. Short, short wires, less than 100 feet, are not directional enough. Not directional enough. Matt says, back in the 90s, local TV carried the Rockies baseball games here. You didn't need cable and special package for their special network. Yeah, same here. I mean, when I was a teen, you would watch. I think you would watch, if I remember well, we would watch a Expos game on the CBC, local CBC station here in Montreal. Without having, you didn't need cable, just over the air, you'd get all the games. I always thought that was a gimmick, trying to make the biggest amount of money out of everything all the time. Let's do specialized, What I find sad of specialized sports stations is not that they exist, because there's a need for that. There's something about specialized channels that are cool, because if you like sports a lot, you will like a station like that, and it's cool. But it took away the local broadcasting of the important stuff, like the hockey games, or here in Montreal, a big chunk of the hockey games are now on the specialized network, sports network, which means that if you don't have those or don't have cable, you're missing out on a lot of games. There's still some TV hockey games going through, but there's not a lot of them now, because they're all being stolen by those big specialized stations. I think it's sad for the average listener, the average viewer that likes, just hockey, for example. Those stations are kind of stealing away some of that freebie that we had of just listening to hockey or baseball on a regular over the air channel. What else do we have? Joe says, first major league game I saw was the Expos when he lived in Vermont. Man. TVDXer, you did more to the guy you punched than the cops would have done anyway. Well, if they caught him and everything, I would have gone through. I mean, I would have gone through with the charges and everything to make sure that they get what they have to get. but it was like impossible. And I just honestly, I there's nothing. A friend of mine says, "Well, you're brave." I was like, I wasn't brave. My brain disconnected, and the first thing that I wanted to do after I was on the floor was to just hit as hard as I can, and that's it. And there was no more. I was not thinking. There was no reflection in my head of what I was doing. My brain went to an automatic process. So there's nothing brave in what I did. It's really, I mean, my face was covered in blood. And it's when I got home that I started feeling the pain. I wouldn't feel the pain at the moment when all of that arrived. It's just my brain disconnected, and I just went haywire. Nothing more. There was nothing brave about what I did or anything. But if I have something positive to say about it, I'm happy that I hit him real well, and I hope he still remembers to this day what happened. SV O'Rourke, nice to have you on board from Hawaii, 87 degrees. WF7I Homebrew, the only times I use Squelch and Shortwave is when they are very strong. Yeah, when there's very strong stations, maybe. But I mean, for the most part, we don't really use it. Zach in Nebraska, nice to have you on board drinking bourbon. Cool. TVDX, sir, any word on your PL330 delivery? All I know is that Canada Post has the tracking. But when I go to Canada Post, it just says that they got the tracking. According to 4PX, which is the company that the Chinese seller used, it's in Canada. So now it's like Canada Post time. I noticed that Canada Post says it's on expedited delivery. So it'd be fun if by chance I'd have it for Saturday for an unboxing live. Let's hope. Let's hope. So, we'll see. There's a squelch dial on is XH data. Well, there's a squelch setting. It's not. I would have to check my XH data. There's a squelch setting on the XH data in the menu for airband. It's really for the airband. It doesn't say it on the, or if it does, I don't recall seeing the word on the buttons. I'll have to come back with that because I don't have it in front of me right now. Joe uses Squelch on the Yellen code to scan 6.87 pirate searching. Use it to scan for utility stations. Yeah, the problem with Squelch, though, Joe, when you use it, is that when a station is fading out, you might because I understand you use the Squelch because it stops where stations are, and you know what it is on the air. But you might miss out on a lot of signals. That's why I rather scan the band manually without Squelch, because you'll hear the weak stuff that you're missing out when you're scanning with the Squelch on. So, sorry, the JD Dakota has it here. Says, yes, there is. It's connected with the tuning knob. And he says, whoops. I lost it. I hate it when that happens. So, it's connected with the tuning knob. A punch of the knob switches delivery formats. What else do we have? Roger Wilco, 49 megahertz. Yes, what about 49 megahertz? 49 megahertz used to, well, it still has some stuff. I still hear some baby monitors around here on 49. Pretty much the only thing I hear now. There could be some toy radio control stuff in general, but Joseph Nusser says the further north one is, the less effective the time change in the winter. And you're correct that there is no reason to let it do it. Yeah, I mean, come on. Uh, William Helms, they're close to military installations. Well, the closest military, well, okay, there is a military um, kind of base on the east end of Montreal that still has a lot of equipment, but there's not much activity going on there. It's more like a storage area. When I pass by, there's the tanks and stuff. It's funny because they have this. There's when you pass on a street called Hochelaga, and you're on the east part of the town. On the south side, there's actually a fence that says, no trespassing. Canadian military, and there's this big um, concrete entrance that goes under. And every time I pass by there, I'm always thinking of kind of a bomb shelter or something, nuclear fallout or something. It's kind of weird. RJ88 Dakota loves his D808. Don't use or like the squelch on shortwave. Yeah, I never did that. Also, Cole says I can't agree with you more on the summer temp. Love to be outside and listen to shortwave, but it's too hot down here. Yeah, hate it when it's too hot. Joe, with the Elenco, you can scan 1, 2.5, 9, and 10 megahertz steps and set the pause time. I'll set it to 1 megahertz when pirate searching. Getting ready for Halloween. Yep, Halloween. It's tons of Halloween. There's tons of pirates coming up this weekend. Even this week, there probably are a lot of them coming up. Not this weekend, in 2 weeks. What was it? I think it was last Friday. There's already a Halloween special on one of the pirates. So as we're moving towards Halloween night, which is Saturday the 31st of October, there are going to be more and more pirates. And of course, we'll be live with a special Halloween show. Sorry, guys. Joe, something new us. Nice to have you here from Brazil. Agent Smith, do you know internet radio? Yep, I've got a Sangean WFR 20 that has amazing sound. And pretty much the only thing that I do with it is listen to music, because I've never really done much more than that with it, honestly. Yeah, it is cool to have the sound of the radios through the mixer instead of having to put the radio up the microphone. It's kind of a lot more fun like this. Nick, nice to have you here. K9XN from Northwest Indiana. Matt says it's definitely fall. Radio Stereo España was very strong, but fading rapidly now. Yeah, the 31 meter band, especially with lower solar activity, is really, really closing fast in the evening here in North America as we get into winter. Longer nights. Arthur's Alley Crafter's Kitchen. Nice to have you here from Massachusetts. Shelly, nice to have you on board from Pennsylvania. 49 megahertz, Roger Wilco. Yeah, there's all sorts of little things there. I haven't done a scan of 49 megahertz in a long time, but last time was maybe a couple of months ago, and there was I came across at least 4 or 5 different baby monitors. Matt says, yeah, all the pro sports in Denver except football are on a specialized networks owned by the teams. Only football is big enough to be on major national network and be aired to local affiliates. Yeah, it is sad, honestly. Authors Alec Lefter's Kitchen says, I got into a spirited discussion on another forum with a guy that said he was afraid he'd blow the front end of his radio with the MLA 30 because it's cheap. Oh, please. Yeah, right. It's not sending any electricity to your radio. It's sending a radio signal. That's all from an amplifier. The ML830, I have seen. So I don't, I'll be very frank here. I often, uh, so let's go back. I was part of so many groups on the internet, a lot of them, a lot of groups. Okay. And I am now out of pretty much every group. I only participate and am part of the groups that are important to me now, which are the ones that I interact with still. So honestly, I have my Facebook group, official SWL channel, and then I'm on the Canadian International DX, the International Radar Report. I'll be very, very blunt and very, very direct here. I don't care about the other ones because I'm tired of the crap that goes on them. Plus, there are a couple that I was on that there are stuff that happened that I won't talk about because I am a gentleman and will not name names and mention idiots, especially the ones that are trolling here that have some of the big Facebook groups. And if they watch, because I'm pretty sure they're still watching, they know they are. Um, Over time, I got tired of a lot of groups on shortwave. That's why because I resisted for a long time. A lot of people ask me, why is it the official SWL channel group, is only a year old or something like that? And I'm like, well, I resisted because when I was part of the big other um, Facebook groups and groups in general, um, I didn't want to compete because I already have a pretty big presence here on YouTube with shortwave. And I thought, that's enough. And there are groups that do what they do. And until I got fed up and got into a couple of rants, I understood, okay, enough with anybody else. I have no more, filter and I have no more allegiance to anybody except what I do and the things that are important to me. So I removed myself from pretty much all the groups after that. And what happens is that's when I started, okay, a lot of people are asking, is there a way, is there a place where we can all go when the live show is not happening? Okay, it's time for a Facebook group. And that's where the official SWL channel started. And its basic purpose is to have a lot of friendly people talking about radio. No rants, no big heads thinking they are better than others. No, I don't want to have any of that. And actually, that's why there's quite a few moderators. And you know what? Anything that's out of the of what we're supposed to talk about, I don't want to see there. Because that's the thing. And when you talk about the MLA30, when there's a few groups that I was part of, and you know what? There's a lot of MLA30 bashing because a lot of Wellbrook and W6LVP expensive loop users are all into the don't buy the MLA30. That's a cheap Chinese junk and it's no good and blah, blah, blah. Well, I've got a expensive W6LVP that I would shove somebody's ass if I could because it ain't better than the MLA30. I'm sorry. I have it here. I tested here. It's on the Texan PL990X here. No, it's not better. Maybe in the medium wave, long wave, yes. On shortwave, no, not enough to be into the price range that it is compared to an MLA30. I want much more than that. Plus, the MLA30 comes with the wire that connects to the radio and everything. While the W6LVP, you got to buy your coax, you got to buy everything that you need extra, and it's super expensive. So I'm sorry, I can't. I'll never tell anyone to buy that. Um, the idea of this channel and of what's happening here is to just be, look, um, you're better off with an MLA 30 at 40-ish US dollars. And, the rest of that money that you would have purchased a Wellbrook or whatever, you can buy a nice radio to go with your MLA 30 and be happy and listen to the world. That's much better and much better use of your money. Um, that said, if you're happy with your Wellbrook, you're happy with the W6 LVP, that's all that counts. I'm not bashing them. I'm just saying, you know what? They're really expensive for what they are. And they're too expensive for what they are, honestly. Especially when you start looking at the MLA 30, what it can be and what it does and how good it is at doing what it does. So there's a lot of MLA 30 bashing, and there's a lot of bashing in general of everything Chinese right now. And, to put it very bluntly, when somebody tells me, oh, China's evil, well, I'm going to say one thing. It's not eviler than a lot of other countries. And they are in big business and they're doing what they do. And if I have the choice of a Chinese MLA 30 for $40 plus a brand new radio with the rest of the money, or one big antenna that's $400, I'll choose the MLA 30 and a nice new radio with it. That's all. I think we got to understand where we are and what's happening. And there's a lot of bashing going on with MLA 30, with a lot of amateur radio operators that I heard on the bands. Like, oh, did you see that Chinese MLA 30? And they're like, oh, that thing is junk. Yeah, well, mine's outside. I got 3 actually, and one of mine is outside and been outside in the weather last winter. Still works great. It isn't junk. It works really well. And it gives me extra money to buy something else because it's much less expensive. That's all. There's a lot of that going on, and that's where, unfortunately, there's a lot of bad discussion going on with that. Here on the channel, I try to kind of put it in um, a down to earth, everybody way of radio antennas and stuff. And, how many people told me they got an MLA 30 and they're so darn happy with it? No, once again, like I said, it's not a miracle antenna. Some people purchase the MLA 30 and I think they don't realize what they already have. And what I mean by that is they see all the signals we get on an MLA 30 and how we are happy with them. And they think it's a miracle antenna when it's not. And so many people said, well, I got it and it receives less than my long wire. Yeah, because if your long wire is in a quiet environment, it is a million times better than an MLA 30. That's the thing. The MLA 30 is for a very specific use. It's when there's too much noise around and all else fails. That's your best chance of getting something on shortwave. If you're not getting anything on the long wire, the MLA 30 might be a solution. It's not a miracle antenna, and in some situations, it might not be better. But you know what? For 40-ish dollars, you ain't got not much to lose purchasing one and testing it out. Because at least it's going to work. And I see, I've seen a few posts, people saying, well, the MLA 30 isn't working, so I'm probably going to get a Wellbrook. And not going to be better. I can guarantee that. If an MLA 30 is not better for you, a W6 LVP loop or a Wellbrook will not be better either. You live in an environment where it's just so difficult and so noisy that no antenna like that will work. And you're in an environment where the only DX you can do will be to be out of your home. Unfortunately, there are some of you out there that are not ever going to be able to listen to shortwave inside your house, unfortunately. And I get from, I see regular posts from time to time or comments on the channel of, so I got an MLA30, I'm not receiving anything. I got a new radio, not receiving anything. Yeah, because the problem is noise. And you know what's difficult to explain about noise? Is everybody, when we turn on our radio, we hear static. So the static we hear, how do you know if it's standard low grade static where you're going to get signals because there's not a lot of noise but still static, or it's static because you've got so much noise that you're actually receiving a lot of noise and it's still static? And your radio, you turn it on, static is static, whatever strength the static is. But there's a difference, because unless you have an S meter, for example, or unless you have some meter on your radio that shows you how strong it is, one guy sent me a message with a picture of his radio, and I had received, I think it was Voice of Turkey, and he's not very far from here, and he sent me a picture, and he said, not even a picture, a video. And he said, look, you get it real clear, and I get this. And I could hear Voice of Turkey, but it was washed out in noise. So I said, okay, you know what? Tune 9 megahertz, 9000. Send me the picture. Send me a picture of what it looks like. And that's where I saw that when he was tuning, the signal level indicator that had 5 segments was at 5. It was full scale. I said, look, that upper left on your display is a signal strength meter. It's full scale. It's 5 out of 5, because the noise you have in your home is so strong that it's just that. It's just noise. And I sent him a picture of my radio here with the telescopic. And I said, look, mine is 2 out of 5. That means that you need a station to be very strong to actually overpower that noise you got. Where I need a station to be 4 or 5 out of 5 to be strong enough to overpower the noise and hear it well. So it's a question of realizing what you have. And when he sent me back, he said, wow, everywhere I tune, that is 5 bars on the upper left. And you guys are going to find it funny, but he said, I thought that was the battery level indicator, that my battery was 5 out of 5. I never thought it was a signal indicator. And I said, you know what? Collapse the antenna or go outside into a park or, as far away from the homes that you can. Look at that meter. You're going to see it's going to go down. And a couple of weeks later, he went camping and he sent me another message and said, you know what? I went camping and you are so right. When I turned on the radio and put out the telescopic antenna, there's not even 1 bar out of 5 that was actually lining up. And I could hear so many signals. But how do you explain that to somebody that's new to the hobby? How can you, imagine that newbie that doesn't know this exists, that doesn't have any reference. He's heard something about shortwave, about maybe a radio you could buy, listen to the world. And we all agree about one thing, these radios, they add, it's advertising. You get the radio, looks really nice, looks cool, it's very sexy on the box. It says, listen to the world. Yeah, but there's a lot of details missing in that phrase of listen to the world. And imagine, put yourself in the guy that bought a radio, saw on the box, listen to the world, has no idea what he's getting into, lives in a condo full of noise, doesn't even know where to tune also. He's not going to hear anything. And I I've said it so many times here on the live shows. How many people return to radio saying, "Oh, my radio's bad. It's not it doesn't work." Or return and say, "Yeah, these are junk. You don't listen to the world on these things." Why? Because of the the you know, the noise level around you. And because you don't know more, well, you get to the point where what do you do? And there's a lot of people that I'm sure we lost in the hobby because apart from already the kind of complex side of listening to shortwave where you need to have some knowledge, noise has washed out everything that they could listen to. And that is sad because that's what a lot of it is today. Um, and from the comments that I see on my channel, so many people purchased a radio that I told them, this is a good radio. Came back to me saying, well, I don't hear nothing, or I hear only religious broadcasts. And you got to tell them, it's like, probably you have too much noise because in a quiet environment, it's very surprising. Very surprising. But in noisy environments, yeah, maybe you are hearing Brother Stereo everywhere. That's sad. And Stacks, is PSK reported not reporting FT8 reception anymore? Something about ignoring the 40 least desired countries 2 days in a row. They reported back a few stations, then stopped. Maybe a bug or something, because I've not heard of anything about PSK reporter not working or not doing it anymore. I think it's mostly probably because some bug or something. Moonfest Madness, nice to have you here. Playing with microwaves. The cooking types or the radio types? Well, they're radio types also, but TVDXer, I'm sure he remembers the punch well. Glad you're okay. Had something similar happen to my fingers. Took quite a while for them to return to normal. Joseph says, I've never found squelch useful. I prefer to control the signal input on the 909X. Now on shortwave, it's not useful, honestly. You miss out on too much because when you put that threshold just high enough for it to be able to scan, you miss all the little weaker signals. Kevin Wood, nice to have you here. It's much better because I on VHF UHF there's a usefulness because the signals are at a certain level off the noise. But on shortwave, because of the fade in and out all the time, you miss out a lot of signals when you use squelch. There's tons of things that you didn't see were actually there, and you are able to hear them when you manually tune. It's much better to do a manual tune of shortwave bands than a squelch automatic tune. So yeah, PL330. Let's hope that I get it soon. Nick, CQ Worldwide DX Phone Contest this weekend. Yep, that's going to be a lot of fun to listen to. Absolutely. What else do we have? DVDXer got a cool QSL from WDOG for the broadcast during your show last Saturday. Cool. Kevin Wood waiting on a mini whip just for fun. Cool. I mean, the mini whip is surprising when you look at the University of Twente receiver in the Netherlands. That's what they use, and look at how amazing reception is there. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. What else do we have? Blind Picker, W0RAB. Rob, nice to have you here from Connecticut. And always fun for you to be here. Joseph, is there a concern with the signal an antenna amplifier puts out? Nope. None whatsoever. First, you'd say, yeah, for the Facebook page, no BS. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Fist Man is 730 rocks. Joe says, oh no, Alex Jones just said there is a lot of Chinese troops are in Canada. He just makes this stuff up. You know what? Even worse. I used to respect one guy that I used to listen to, and yeah, it was weird. He's a very bizarre guy in some ways, and I know a couple of people that know him more personally. Um, Alan Wiener, WBCQ. That guy, I used to listen to, and it was almost a religious listening for me to hear Alan Wiener Worldwide, his broadcast on Friday evening, knowing what's happening in WBCQ, what's happening with, whatever he would talk about. And I did that for a long time, enjoying I found it that it was almost like this show. It was like, just let's go with the flow and whatever I got to talk about tonight and blah blah blah. But when he started, you know what? I without being political, I found that it seemed to be worse with the election of Donald Trump. And he started being very, very political on his show. And what actually made me fed up much more is when a couple of times on his show he started saying that Canada was communist and that our social system and our free Medicare was, a great example of how we are socialists and communists. And you know what? That night when I heard that, I was like, okay, I got enough. Plus, he had so much crap, political crap. I wish he would have just stayed with, can you just talk about WBCQ and your 500 kilowatt, 24-hour crap program that could be so much better than having, flat earth shit. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. I mean, what a waste of 500 kilowatts. Unfortunately, I just, I don't listen anymore. And I don't actually, it's even to a point where I just don't care about WBCQ anymore. You know what? It would disappear tomorrow and I don't care. It's sad because out of the crap, there's a lot of religious stuff on US broadcasters, okay? And it is a major complaint for a lot of people. And what happens is I got a rant a couple of weeks ago. Somebody told me, yeah, you're just an anti-religious guy and you should, respect those that believe in Jesus and blah blah blah. And it's like, well, that's not where I am. I'm not there to say that, it's religious crap or anything. It is crap because I'll tell you why I call a lot of the religious stuff on the internet on shortwave crap. is because there's religion, and there's BS religion, and a lot of the shortwave broadcasters are on the BS religion side. You could explain and talk about something religious without being overly, you know, um, without being a sect or being something that goes too far. Now that said, I never defended Brother Stair. He's a hay-hole of the first class. I'm not even sure what's happening with this case where there's a lot of sexual harassment and stuff that's totally nuts that happened in his compound there. That guy deserves to go to jail. But what I often said is there are two things on a radio. One, when somebody says, "Oh, religious stuff all the time," well, your radio has a tuning knob. You can tune away to something else. You don't have to listen to that. You're not stuck. Your radio isn't stuck on Brother Stair. There's a gazillion other frequencies to listen to try to see what's there. So that's the first thing I will say. That I mean, even if he doubled his broadcast tomorrow, yeah, we'll hear tons of Brother Stair everywhere. But you can tune away. Same for religious. If you don't like religious broadcasts, I don't listen to any religious broadcasts. I don't rant when I hear one. I just tune away. That's all. But the second thing that I wanted to talk about that is it's money pouring into broadcasters. Remove all the religious broadcasts off of WRMI. I'm not sure that they have enough operating budget for, what's left in their relays. It ain't going to be Radio Slovakia, Radio Prague, and then whatever, Radio Tirana, and a couple of other, like, VORW and stuff like that that's going to pay the bills. It's a bigger picture. A lot of it has to do with there's a lot of money, and probably a lot more money coming from the religious stuff that maintains the operation on the air. Another example, so WWCR is an example that I never listened to WWCR in Nashville because it is pretty much only religious broadcasts. But you know what? They have that DX block on Saturday evening that I truly love to listen to. It's the only time of the week I will listen to an hour of WWCR and hear Ask WWCR. That's always a repeat that they seem to have a hard time really doing new shows. Australian DX Report, AWR Wave Scan. I love that hour. If to maintain that hour, for me, that means that the rest of the schedule is let's talk about Jesus. I'm fine with that. Anyways, I tune something else if I don't want to listen to it. That's all. But it ensures that I have my 1 hour of DX shows on Saturday evening, which is my 1 hour of listening before I go to bed on Saturday night. And I find it super cool. Look at WTWW. It's mainly a religious broadcaster. But if that is what maintains the QSO radio show where they talk about amateur radio stuff, ham radio, what is it? Ham radio. It's that show that I always forget the name. It's ham radio something, anyways, on Wednesday. If that is maintained there because of the religious broadcasts they have on the other times, even the 5085 I kind of enjoy when I don't know what to listen to much, I'll tune 5085 on the weeknights and listen to the music. and even go on the WTWW.us webpage and put in a couple of song requests I want to hear. But the thing is, those few moments that I enjoy is what I focus on. The rest of the schedule, when they have religious program, I don't listen. And I think we've got to just focus on take what you like, ignore what you don't. That's all. I, I, I don't want to bash on any religious broadcasting or anything. It's part of our lives, anyways. But you don't have to listen to it if you don't like it, and that's what you got to do. So just take what you like, ignore what you hate, and that is, I think, the beauty of radio. You have that tuning knob that lets you tune to something else. And I know that a lot of people have a hard time kind of focusing out of that, but my personal time is no, I've got no problem. When I do scans on the ATS 909, I do regular scans. So you guys have seen I've posted a few of the ATS scans, which are a lot of fun to do, actually. Sometimes of the day, that ATS scan, I will probably have half of the frequencies with religious broadcasting, But, I just go through the frequencies and jump over them and focus on the other signals that are in that scan. That's all. Just learn to ignore it. But be happy when something else which is interesting is there, you know. What else do we have? Matt says MLE30 is great. I use it and not my WLVP these days. Yeah, man, it's kind of it's smaller, so it's kind of in a place where antennas are not necessarily the best friends because of your neighbors that don't like to see them. There's one advantage of the MLE30. It's very low key. W6 LVP. When you pass in the front of the street here, what you see is my W6 LVP. That thing you see from far away. You almost don't notice that there's an MLA30 next to it. It's barely visible. Joe Sambranius, I need help. I'm going to build a shortwave antenna outside and will be 90 feet away from the STR. Could I use RG58 coax? Yep. On shortwave, yes. On shortwave, 100 feet of coax is not a lot of loss. It will be okay. Where 100 feet starts to get a problem is if you do UHF, when you're above 300 megahertz-ish. RG58 has more and more resistance to signals as you go higher in frequencies. But for shortwave and medium wave, the loss is extremely low. And 100 feet of RG58 is perfect. It's going to work well. That's what I got here. I've got two lengths of RG58 that come from my backyard. One is for the VHF UHF. It's okay on like 2 meters. It's fair on 70 centimeters, but I know that when I go higher, I would need better coax. I would need some of those NMR 400 or something like that would be better probably. But honestly, it's okay. For shortwave, 100 feet away, it's going to be fine. There's not enough loss to really do anything. Just make sure that it's really well shielded and that it's the shield is well grounded so that the noise is out of the coax. James Johnson, FR200 with good rechargeable dynamo for 50 cents at a thrift store. Can be that. Can be that. Moonfest Madness, bang for the buck. Emily is very good. Absolutely. Absolutely. Moonfest Madness. If the USA made MLE30, it would be $300. Yeah. It's the unfortunate side of things. You know that the reason why it costs so low is Not the same salary, not the same working conditions. But that's life. We don't really think when we buy stuff. When you buy your smartphone, do you think about all the labor behind it and all the people that are like living a crappy life because they have to build your expensive phone that you purchased? We don't really take the time to think about that. We should. Honestly, we should, but we don't. It's our way of life sometimes. C. Johnson. I try not to feed the dragon. Yeah, that's the best thing. Try not to feed the dragon. Noodle ham operator. So you think an AL loop would be a good shortwave antenna? I don't know what the AL loop is, but loops are in general good because they easily remove the noise around you, for sure. Moonfest Bandits, I got my MLA30 as a test thing. I've been modded new inductor, had a new loop. I don't think I for any of the original left. Joseph, I remember there was a good seller before COVID lockdowns for MLA30 Plus on eBay. Is it still the same one? Anyone know a good seller right now? The one that I purchased from is still sending it at like 44 US dollars, and he seems to be. I purchased all three of them through M, and seems to be working well. And a lot of people don't, So, you know, well, an antenna tuner is not the same as an MLA30 Moonfest Madness because an antenna tuner will match and resonate your wire or whatever antenna you use. But the MLA30 is an amplified loop. Plus, the fact that it has a loop is also very directional, and you can try to remove the noise. You know, Ruffers Newt. I live in the country. My long wire outperforms the MLA30. However, the loop will outperform my wire at certain frequencies. Well, that's the fun part of also having both because there are in your case, you've noticed that there are frequencies where the MLA30 is to use, and so you're happy to have both. When I look at my sloper in the backyard, if it wasn't for the noise, if it was super quiet here, it performs darn well. But it's the noise. Moonfest minus static, the noise of the universe. Yeah, but in our case, static has become the noise of the human man-made objects, much more than the universe itself. Keegan, nice to have you here from Northwest Arkansas, exiting the Xer. What else do we have? Yeah, for static, you look at the S meter or the signal indication on your radios to really know. To really know. But it's difficult. A lot of people don't realize that. When you look at that guy that told me I thought it was the battery indicator. It's like, okay, I can see that if that signal segment is always on at 5 segments out of 5, you might be thinking, "Oh, my battery's charged." I could see that, honestly. Well, one of the things, you know what, Moonfest Man, is I'm sure there are some people. I'm sure there are some people that noticed lower noise in some areas of where they live because of COVID, with the lower activity going on, honestly. James Johnson, live and learn. Those who know, guide. Yep. Yeah, that's another story. C. Johnson. It's like what time of the day you're listening to and all of that. It's a very, very difficult thing it's a very difficult thing to explain, and trying to explain to everybody, um, trying to explain to everybody, um, you know, times of the day to that you listen to, and that shortwave is not like AM or FM radio where everything's there at a certain time. It's a hard thing, and add to that the changing propagation of seasons and the frequencies. I was like thinking of Matt, MDK2, not hearing Radio Romania, and actually I thought about you a lot, Matt, this week, because around 2030 I was always looking at 11850 and 13650, and this afternoon actually I was tuning 11850 on the Texan PL990X. But 13650 was almost impossible. It was barely there in the noise. You know, that's all the explaining also of you might have heard a station today on that frequency. It might not be there tomorrow because of some propagation conditions, or the changing of the of the seasons and all. Everything is it's a changing world on shortwave propagation, I can tell you that. So Alex Joel Jones, sucking the airwaves. I never thought that the Emily 30 would suck the airwaves so much that my neighbors could not even hear the different stations around the world. I had to tell them, sorry, but get an Emily 30. We'll share the sucking. WF7I Homebrew, you can hear many CQ worldwide contest stations this week. Yeah, a lot of them, absolutely, that's true. WF7I. There's a lot of them that are doing some tests before the official thing. By the way, guys, if you want to hear South Africa, he's been there every single night for the past week, around 0400 UT, 7134.5 lower sideband, always there, almost every night. That station that I posted the video from South Africa. Take a listen. He's got a pretty good signal into North America, and he's been there almost every day. Hey, it's turning the frogs gay. The other day I was looking, and there's pink frogs everywhere. Oh man, how can you say stupid things like that? Turning the frogs gay. Come on. By the way, those that are thinking of the Sangean ATS 909X2, production has been halted. They're for now not doing anything. I don't know if it has to do with the response to the. So you guys have seen that there was a website from Europe selling it at 300 and some euros. So we learned this week that for now it's not going to happen. And I actually have even heard that the Sangean ATS 909X2 might never actually be in production at all. So if you guys are waiting for that, don't wait. So all the orders, their pre-orders and everything's canceled. And those that did pre-order, apparently your money's being refunded. So, Joseph, you have to accept there are some eccentrics out there. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Matt says something happens to some of these guys like Alan Weiner. Their brains break. I found his style annoying even before. It was, you had to get accustomed to it, for sure. There were things that also I was kind of, left me a little harsh, a little, but not enough for me not to listen. But now I can't. When he opens his mouth more than 2 minutes, it's like, yeah, okay, time to tune away. He's like any guy on AM radio, which isn't a good thing. Yeah. Joe says, Alan changed when Angela joined the show. I heard the WBCQ broadcaster say he heard a person shot up a community meeting and he hoped it happens more. I sent an email, I can repeat, but, you know, it's crazy. I mean, that's the best, You can tune away from stuff. You got a tuning button, just move away from it. Right now, it's extremely difficult with all that's happening without being political and all, there's the news talks about the same thing. So it's, COVID, politics, and religion on shortwave. That's why you got a tuning button, and that's why sometimes it's fun to move away from broadcasting, try stuff like, utilities or there's a lot of different types of talks on ham bands. I mean, of course, there's politics and religion and stuff like that on the ham bands, but tune around and you'll see some good old guys talking about, you know, radio and antennas and power and how they tweak their shack and make things better. And you got to focus on that and just move away from the rest. Honestly, you know. Matt says I can get halfway decent locally oriented programming only on FM public radio, at least here in Denver. Not any of the commercial stations anymore, sadly. Yeah. Yogi says in East Asia you cannot tune away from CNR1. Oh yeah, that probably, that's the example of depending on where we are in the world. Here in North America, we're complaining of all the religious broadcasters. In Asia, they're probably complaining of all the Chinese stuff, CNR1, China Radio, and all of that crap. you know, that's the thing. Joseph, he says it's fun to listen to all the Bollywood music. I have been having so much fun with the great signal from All India Radio in the morning here. So I listened for about an hour of Bollywood music on All India Radio on 11560. It's so unique and so different from anything else. And it's refreshing because, from a guy with a guy from Canada, listening to that is like it's super exotic. You're listening to India. Joseph says, agreed. One doesn't have to listen. The risk is that taking a view against anyone is that it is an impulse against the free speech. And that's also something we got to understand. Free speech is free speech. We got to respect that also. There is, that's the way it is. And that's why, tune away. Tune away, you know. DJ Raiders, happy to be streaming. Nice to have you on board. Steve Miller, remove all political ads from commercial transmitters. You can't do that. That's the way it is also. Jay Watterson 69. Nice to have you here. Says shout out to Paul the Cat. And nice to have you on board. Rob, indeed. I like being here because we talk and ask questions about radio. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, but like I said, KW1161. If it keeps these stations alive, that stare is there. Just move away when you don't want to listen to whatever he has to say. That's all. There's other frequencies. So that's the you know. Joseph says, truthfully, the reason for religious broadcasters can afford and rent airtime is because there are so few other original broadcast producers. So Cal says, being so close to Mexico is great, as Mediumwave has good Mexican stations. Cool. You know, there's so much stuff. Ham Nation. Thanks, Joe. That's the name I was looking for. Ham Nation. Thank you, Joe. By the way, Moria 330 says Ham Radio Newsline. I've been hearing a couple of times this week while tuning the 160 meter band. Anybody that notices there's a W, I'm trying to remember, W1NAN or W3NAN or something like that. 1860 kilohertz on the 160 meter band. If you tune slowly, you might hear a carrier. There's an AM mode amateur news station there. And they even play Glenn Hauser's World of Radio, but they have AM Radio Newsline playing there with amateur radio news all the time. Been hearing it a little bit. Joe Watterson looking forward to my show at Halloween stream while handing out candy to trick-or-treaters. Cool. Cool. Alembic 65, nice to have you here. Thank God for college radio. WCSB here in Cleveland is exceptional. Also well advised to sample WTJU from University of Virginia. Yeah, you have this here too when you listen to CKUT. Oh, by the way, somebody asked something earlier. I forgot to answer. Somebody asked on CKUT, there was something called Voice of Korea, and was asking if it had something to do with a Voice of Korea relay or anything. No. I believe Voice of Korea is a Korean community show from Korean people here in Montreal that are creating this show on the station. It is not a rebroadcast of Voice of Korea. Joe says, I have a database app. I log on and make sure to log the program name. I am a program listener and have a good reference to search. Cool. That's cool. Joseph, me too with 5085. 4810 is also just to see if there's something of interest, but truly, this is the fault of a lot of people who could be producing content who weren't. Yeah, and it's the money also. You've got to realize that you need money because the problem isn't necessarily the content. A lot of people have content, interesting content. And one of the things about content is the fact that there needs to be money to put the content on the air. So you might have great content, you might have something to say to the world, but you need the money to put it on. That also is something that that we have to understand. Broadcasting on these frequencies, broadcasting on these stations is not free. It requires you to pay a fee. And that is where a lot of the content stops. That's where a lot of the content never gets through because they never have the money to put it on. And that's something also that is the big problem. So it's not necessarily lack of content, but it could be lack of money to put the content on the air. Yogi says, tune to a nicer station and pet a cat. That's pretty much it. Oh, man. Prasad says, just making a point before I forget, shortwave info was also showing 9410 BBC was jammed. But this time I just tried to see how it sounds, but I was receiving it well last time. Yeah, but there's a difference. You know what, Prasad? BBC is a strong station. So on 9410, they might be from Madagascar. They could be from Ascension Island transmitter side. I don't know what is the relay there, but it's 100 kilowatts or 200 kilowatts. The station you had from Taiwan is extremely weak. That station is known to have only about 100 watts. It's not even a kilowatt. So it is almost impossible to hear at a good distance. Um, and so CNR1 is for sure the one that is over it. That's guaranteed. For the BBC, because it is much more powerful, it's possible that you're not hearing the jammer, or it's possible that it overpowers the jammer also. If you listen multiple days, you might notice that sometimes they're kind of mixed together also. But it's not in the same game. Station from Taiwan is extremely weak, where BBC is, 100, 200 kilowatts for broadcasting. Jim, nice to have you here from Rhode Island. Prasad says, I had taken it for granted and not tuned to it. Lesson not to take shortwave info for granted. Yeah. There's one thing also, Prasad, is that it's very, I mean, one of the problems of shortwave schedules online is that it's fun to have them, but um, they're not always accurate, and we got to be careful in what station we're listening to and what exactly are we listening to. The rest, one of the things also is having the knowledge. When somebody tells me, "Oh, I heard, Sound of Hope from Taiwan," I always tell them, "No, you heard CNR1 jammer." And I know they get probably a little, pissed off. They're probably a little like, "Who are you to say I didn't hear Sound of Hope?" But it's my experience, my personal experience and knowledge. I know what you heard with CNR1, nothing else. There was one of the viewers that said, "Hi, I told you I was hearing I got a QSL card." Yeah, but the thing is um, they didn't really verify. They just gave you a QSL because you were on the frequency. In reality, it was CNR1. And he came back and said, "Yeah, you were right. It was CNR1." Um, it's a question of knowledge and everything. There's nothing wrong in reporting. Glenn Hauser, a couple of weeks ago on his World Radio show, I was listening. He says too many people are reporting, Sound of Hope Taiwan that has 100 watts. It's CNR1 you're hearing and blah blah blah. Yeah, but you can say it out loud, but it's our knowledge. It's the knowledge we have that is giving us that knowledge of what we're hearing is what station. You go, it's a very innocent error when you post, "I listen to Sound of Hope." Because if you go to your favorite internet schedule site, you pop in the frequency and you're listening to something in Chinese, unless you can understand what they're saying. And that's the thing, is also we jump to a conclusion, because if I hear something in Mandarin, I have no idea what they're saying. I don't understand not even one, okay, ni hao maybe, but that's it. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't understand your language. Then the fact that the other station is also in that same language, okay, that looks Chinese, and that looks, it must be Sound of Hope. But the problem is no, it's CNR1. If you could understand the program, you might have noticed it's CNR1. What I always tell everybody is listen to the top of the hour. Sound of Hope never has time pips. CNR1 always has those time pips. So you hear the time pips going through at the top of the hour. When you hear that, it's CNR1. You're hearing CNR1. It's official. There's no time pips on the Sound of Hope in other stations, and that is one of the tricks that a lot of people say to use. Listen to time pips at the top of the hour. You'll know if you're here what you're hearing to. But and jamming is very, because we talk about jamming a little bit, and I said we'd talk a little bit more about it. So there's a lot of jamming going on with China right now. Jamming is very special on shortwave because it will propagate differently every day. So somebody was telling me, because I talk about how shortwave doesn't have any borders, and the internet could be shut off by your government if something goes wrong. And always someone bringing me to me, telling me, well, you look at China, they're jamming everything, so it doesn't go through. Well, it's not true. And the example we have, one of the best examples we have of jamming not being efficient, in the Cold War. In the Cold War, there were so many Russian listeners that were actually receiving broadcasts that were supposed to be jammed by the famous Russian jammers. And I mean, the USSR was not telling anyone they were jamming back then. They were saying they weren't doing anything, but there were white noise jammers with Morse code identifications, and everybody knew they were coming out of the USSR. Everybody knew there were hundreds of 500 kilowatt jammers running through 24 hours in the USSR back in the 70s and 80s. I mean, they spent billions of dollars with those. Really, literally billions of dollars. Imagine. So imagine today. Imagine China, CNR1, all of that. How much? The hundreds of millions are going into jamming. And that brings us to 2 points here. First of all, if shortwave is dead, why does China spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year to jam? I think shortwave is not dead. I think shortwave is still a very important thing. It's a very important way of giving out messages and telling someone a message or something that you want to tell them, whatever it is, political or religious or whatever. in the 80s, I remember listening to mailbag shows. So, for example, one of the stations that was constantly jammed by USSR and Russia was Radio Canada International. It was heavily jammed when it was broadcasting in Russian. Yet, Radio Canada International had regular letters from Russian listeners that made it through, that told them they were actually listening to the program. And yet, those were supposed to be jammed. But shortwave is such a unique medium that because of changing propagation, on Monday, you might not hear your station because you're here only jamming. But on Tuesday, you might be hearing only the station and not jamming because it might be skipping over you. And that's where shortwave jamming, even though it can actually be efficient in some times, it's not efficient every day because of changing propagation conditions. So it's inefficient in a certain way. Now, against small broadcasters, like we're talking about Sound of Hope. Yeah, maybe they're not getting much into China. I don't know. I wonder if Sound of Hope knows or has an idea of how well they are being received on Chinese territory. But they are so low power that I wouldn't be surprised they might not be heard much with all the jamming. But let's get back to the example of the BBC 9410. Now that's powerhouse against powerhouse. That's a couple of 100 kilowatts against a couple of 100 kilowatts jamming. Well, depending on propagation, pretty sure that BBC 9410 often makes it through the China mainland and that some people can listen in. We'd be surprised at the amount of Chinese people that can actually listen to international broadcasts that technically they shouldn't be listening to. I like that. Yogi says, with shortwave radio, whoops, lost it. Coming back. So Yogi says, let me just find it back again. With shortwave propagation, your mileage may vary. Others other crafters, MLA30's best purchase I've made all year. It's not even close. James Johnson, 690 now owned by Cox Broadcasting. Okay. Here we got sports on 690 now. Noodle ham operator. I'm not picking up anything on my PL 880 except AM FM. I have a 40 feet sloper. Any suggestions? An MLA 30. I bet your 40 feet sloper is just too noisy. So it's just not working on shortwave. Your signal to noise ratio indicator must be indicating a lot of noise. So an MLA 30 is your best bet, probably. Matt says, I haven't been looking for Radio Romania at all. Even their 03 UT broadcast to the West Coast, one of which is on 41 meter, isn't coming in anymore. Yeah. Bonne nuit, TVDXer. À samedi. Fais attention à toi. It's, that's where I think we want to hurry up to the change of frequencies in the schedules. Starting to get some lightning in Chicago. Wow. It's going to be warm on Friday, so maybe that's what's coming here, the warmer temperatures. Kamazi 76 doing an Alex Jones impression really helps clear your sinuses. Yeah, for sure. Oh, man. What else do we have here? VT Radio, O2 Zulu, time for bed. Take care, Paul. AA1 SU in Vermont. Always nice to have you on board. James Johnson. Jill Mike has revealed to me a separating voice coil in my left speaker. Aha. Interesting. Of the dawn? Nice to have you here. Well, that's okay. If that's what you like, listening to the preaching and so on, it's fine. It's not to stop all of that, Frequency for South African guy is 7134.5. 7134.5 lower sideband. He's been there every night for the past week and a half. Joseph, I take a great deal of pleasure listening to hams on 160 meters. Some of the guys are interesting people. You know what is interesting of 160? They usually are more technical guys than a lot of other hams in the other bands. Because to go to 160 meters, they built some huge antennas and they're proud. 160 meter band guys that talk every night are proud of their stations, and almost like 116 meters is that exclusive club, if you want. I am on 160 meters. I am a special kind of ham, That's the other thing. RJ Dakota says, love to listen to various types of music on the bands. Radio Nacional Amazonia, Greece, as well as All India Radio. Yep. Joseph says, when I visit the Middle East and tune around, CRI is basically polluting the airwaves, broadcasting over a big diversity of broadcasters. Comparing them to Brother Stare is perfectly fair. Yeah, that's that. I can compare it. It's even worse than Brother Stare because I tune around quite regularly those SDRs online, and when I go to a Japanese SDR or somewhere in Asia, man, it's Chinese everywhere. It's crazy. RGDA Dakota seems WTWW getting a wider variety of music. So, What What else do we have? 160 meter band. It's an AM station, AM mode station on 1860 kilohertz. 1860 kilohertz. Doraemon Civil Protector, UVB 76. Let's see if we can hear anything there. 4625. Upper sideband. Oops. Am I hearing anything? Let's check it out. Okay. I want you guys to tell me if I'm crazy or not. Listen carefully. I think I hear the buzzer on 4625 very weak in the noise. I think I hear it. It's weak, but it's there. It's very weak, but it's there. Joe Cool, what radio signal was Tesla listening to? I don't know. I have no idea. Calvin Ballard, being from Maine, I was excited about WBCQ when it got started in shortwave, but it's mostly garbage. I do enjoy Timtron, Lumpy Gravy, and other music programs on Saturday nights. You know, there's a few unusual things, but man, it's crazy. Matt says if you look for soundofhope.org, you can get their live stream and use to compare the audio, but unless you can read Chinese, you'll need to use a translating plugin to find it. Matt says the shows I like on WBCQ are music programs. Now that they're on 49 meters instead of 60, I can get Timtron. I mean, there are some interesting stuff still. It's just that, man. All right, JD Dakota, WRNO is still around. It's on 7505. But it's just religious stuff. 7505. Here it goes. It must be on right now. That is WRNO on 7505. But nope, it is not the rock of the world like when I was listening in the 80s. It's now a religious broadcaster. But 7505, that was WRNO. What else do you have? Joseph, the trick with the old Soviet jamming was to go directional, turn your antenna around 180 degrees and catch the signal on the other side of the great circle path. Yogi, with Sound of Hope, because they can be on so many frequencies, jamming them is really like wag the mole. Actually, you know what? They must have, and that's what we think they have in China, is they have monitors, because whatever frequency Sound of Hope pops up on, CNR1 is there, or China Fire Drake is there. So what we think is that there's a team of monitors 24 hours monitoring all of the frequencies. And when they notice where it is, they just turn on that transmitter on that frequency to jam it. Because they're always on the frequency they're transmitting all the time. NH Olmsted 690 is, yeah, TSN 690. Absolutely. Home of the Habs station in Montreal for sports. Carissa Nicole Smith. Good evening. Nice to have you here. What else do we have? Our JD Dakota says, if technically the Chinese shouldn't listen to shortwave, then why do they make so many shortwave receivers? Yeah, and a lot of them are made for the Chinese market. So that tells you that 1.34 billion people, a lot of them are buying Chinese shortwave radios. You know, Matt says it's hard to do 160 meters. I don't have the room for an antenna that would work on it. Yeah, you got to find those way of actually dealing with how to have a small antenna that resonates there. But it's not like the it's not like the way of of having a real big antenna to deal with it. Hey, how about we do a scan of 160 meters here? You guys want to hear that? So I'm going to use my W6 LVP on the Texan PL 990. So this is a scan of 160 meter band on the Texan PL 990X receiver on the W6 LVP loop. So the wires on each side is at the top, W6 LVP loop. At the bottom, it's the line out that goes to my console here. So let's listen to what's in here. One 993.
Nice crap in this guy.
That's 1993 lower sideband. Not a lot of activities in there. That's all the FT8 stuff. There's a Morse code station. This one is fast. Wonder if it's not the Morse code fast Morse code signals from W1AW. So not a lot right now, but I hear a lot more than that usually. So that was a 160 meter. 160 meter scan, quick scan from the Texan PL 990X. Kimberly in California, nice to have you here. K6YYL. What else is there? Yeah, you know, it's very weak, MDK2. I think it's there, but it's very, very weak. Old Radio Man says, hearing the buzzer here in Northeast Tennessee. Carissa heard it too. You're on Lyle. Have the buzzer very weak with the radar here in Southern Illinois. So probably was hearing it. Yeah, Glenn Zeckman says Tesla said he was listening to Mars. Well, it depends on the frequency he was listening to, because if it was on HF and the old days, in the old days of Tesla, there weren't much receiving equipment that would go very high in frequency. It was a very difficult thing to go higher. Oh yeah, RG88 Dakota WRNO. It's not even a shadow of its former self. It's a station using the call letters, and that's it. It's not even a shadow. It's just somebody else using WRNO call letters. Still remember when it was Rock of the World. Glenn, nice to have you here from Tennessee. Robert Shine and 3VXT. Good evening. And did you what? Did you ever? I would guess it's probably not. Oh, did you ever receive the new SDR with the built-in screen yet? Oh, I haven't ordered that at all. I don't have that, Robert, and it's not on order. Joe 1993, good signal. So kind of cool. Rob, Joe, what do you think I can easily pick up? Why do you think I can easily pick up the STL frequencies on my SDR, but nothing on my 10-meter mobile ham? On the same antenna? Same setup? Mars, Pennsylvania. So, hmm. The SDR with the built-in screen is a Malachite. That's the name, Malachite or Malachite or whatever. But you need to get the Russian version. The Chinese versions are apparently really bad. Agent Smith, are there any good shortwave listening programs from broadcasters worth tuning to? Yeah, quite a lot of it still. But it depends what you are looking for, because program listening is very unique, and it's very personal. What you listen to, what you want to listen to, is very unique person to person. We don't like the same thing, which is okay. So it depends what you want to listen to. But I find quite a lot of interesting programs to listen to on shortwave still. That's for sure. We're going to do so here I'm going to do this. I'm going to get out of single sideband. We're going to do an ATS scan on the Texan PL990X. And we're going to see what are the results coming after the scan. So, yeah, when you have two receivers on the same... What's the SDR you're using? Just out of question, Robert. What is the SDR that you are using that picks up frequencies? I just want to know. Because if you're talking about the RTL SDR V3, don't compare that, because RTL SDR V3, there's tons of spurious signals from the AM band going up to 10 meters and all sorts of images. You can't compare it. It's the SDR that's a problem, not the 10-meter mobile rig. Because on 10 meters, honestly, there's not a lot right now. There's really not a lot right now. So I'm just wondering what SDR you're talking about, Robert. But once again, 10 meters is extremely quiet. You shouldn't hear much unless there's some sporadic E-skip and stuff like that on the bands. Just saying. Because I haven't heard something on... Last time I heard something on 10 meters here was when there's a last big opening of sporadic E-skip, and it was probably somewhere in like early August, late July, early August, possibly. Possibly. That's what I would say. So what will we be hearing? And I'm going to actually get out the schedules, and we're going to check out what has the Texan PL990X received when it did that scan. It's almost over. It's the 13-meter band right now, ending its scan. It's going to be interesting to see here. So this is the Shortwave live show from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My name is Gilles. This is what's left of my beer that I had trouble opening earlier. For those wondering, because I had so many comments today, by the way, because I was posting videos and I have a cough. But the problem is I get from time to time, depending on the time of year and so on, a little bit of bronchitis. And that's been going on for years. And from time to time, pops up and goes down, pops up, goes down. So right now, I'm in a phase of bronchitis. So many people on the shortwave, not on shortwave, on the tech channel today was like, "Are you okay? You seem to be, your voice is a little scratchy and seems different. And I hope you didn't get COVID or something." It's like, no, it's not COVID. It's really a little bit of bronchitis happening. I need to just take it easy a little bit more. Been coughing a lot today. And I got one blood pressure medication that I'm using that also gets a one of the side effects is actually having a cough. So that doesn't help also. So anyways, enough of my health things here. Agent Smith says, I just got back in shortwave listening after a break from the mid 80s, and Brother Stare was on back then. The fact he is still going on after more 30 years is incredible. It must be a miracle. Yeah, I guess. let's call it like that. So here's the scan from the TX, the TS. The TX is a Terminator. This is not a Terminator. It's a shortwave radio. This is the Texan PL 990X. So what are the stations that it actually stopped on? Let's check and listen to this. 3215.
Calvary Baptist Church in New York City regrets to inform WWCR they will be canceling the Tell It From Calvary and Calvary Hour broadcast at the end of September. This is on Worldwide Christian Radio for 6.
So this is WWCR and 3215 kilohertz.
Calvary Hour. Please contact the ministry and let them know you appreciate this broadcast on Worldwide Christian Radio. Write to Calvary Baptist Church, P.O. Box, New York.
Not very strong, 4765, which is Radio Progreso. Does sound like Spanish. 4765 is Radio Progreso off of Cuba. Alex Jones talking about some stuff from shortwave and MLA30s that are actually sucking the airwaves on 4840 kilohertz. Sorry, guys. I won't do that again. So 4840 WWCR.
After about a month of extended flight, I don't know what it is about the circulation factor.
Very weak audio on Radio Rebelde 5025. Radio Havana, Cuba on 5040. I don't know if you guys can see the display. $5085 WTWW with their music. $5,800 kilohertz. One of the frequencies for WRMI.
A dear brother in Christ, I saw him in a conference, Dr. Michael Lake.
5830.
There in Missouri and Seymour, and he had mentioned how he and his wife had done a deliverance ministry.
WTWW.
I had emailed him, and he said that they're so busy with.
God's not finished.
5935 WWCR.
Prophecy will speak of what they will do after.
Sí quiero, jefe. Tráeme el mío de favorito, por favor, con mucho hielo.
5970.
Nosotros estamos aquí, amigos, para media hora más.
WEWN, sorry. The Catholic station in Spanish. Radio Marti from the U.S. 5980. Distorted Radio Havana, Cuba, 6,000 kilohertz.
Anything you'd like to know about Radio Havana, Cuba, you can write to us and we will get back to you on the radio. It's every week on a weekly program available on the show. Let's get things started here. We've got a
Okay, Robert Shine, the V3.
Don Swan.
if you're using the V3, the RTL is the RV3, don't compare that to your 10-meter rig. Whatever it's receiving in 10-meter band is fake image signals. Your 10, I would actually be, what's beeping? Car outside, I think. So I would be, I would actually be much more listening and watching your 10-meter rig. It's probably much better. Radio Marti, 6030.
Faltan 28 para las 11 de la noche. ¿Le parece, Ricky?
Weak, but there. Oh, it just left. Probably had some music or something. 6050 HCJB just left. (6145) Radio Havana, Cuba again. Radio Nacional Amazonas 6180.
Forgiveness calls you on the phone. God disconnects the line if you hand over the receiver to
Disconnect
him.
the line. WHRI, I would guess, on 7315.
That you feel you can do. God shows you that He has already done it all, and you only have to merely trust Him. Put it all in His very capable and holy hands. Amen.
World Harvest Radio. Weak, but there. Radio Marti 7335. Radio Romania 7375 in Spanish. In Spanish, I think. Distorted WRNO in Louisiana 7505.
Stars of the Book of Revelation.
Talking of Brother Stare 7570 via WRMI.
This is a very profound. Whoever commits sin,
9330, world's last chance making it.
Transgression of the law.
With all the crappy stuff. And that's pretty much it. Back to 3215. So that's on the Texan PL 990X. What I'm getting right now. Kimberly. Okay. Yeah, Kimberly, I'm really enjoying the show, especially tonight. Love hearing you tune around. Cool. Well, it's fun to see what we can hear from different parts of the world, because we don't hear the same thing. You on the West Coast will not hear the same thing as me on the East Coast, and it's kind of fun to do that. And we're gonna do some ham band scanning. How about listening to 40 meters? You guys want to hear a 40-meter scan of amateur radio operators? We're going to do it on the Texan. You know what? I've been having so much fun tuning around the Texan receiver. For the first time, I'll say this. I'll be fair. For the first time, one radio has kept me away from the SDR, and it's the Texan PL 990X. I've been having so much fun with it that I've actually used it more than the SDR. It's just funny. Gordon Lyle, think how great it would be if instead of all the religious and conspiracy stuff, the U.S. stations just relayed other countries all the time. You know, I would love, like, WRMI has the capacity and capability of broadcasting so many frequencies at the same time that are easy to hear. Imagine if they would rebroadcast all the international broadcasters and just that would be just so much fun. I already appreciate that they can do it. Hey, Kimberly, you want to call CQ on 40? What frequency are you going to use? We're going to put it on the SDR here, and I'm going to put the audio. So what frequency? Let us know what frequency, Kimberly, you want to call CQ on. 40 meters. And we're going to listen to it. Who knows? Maybe we'll hear K6YYL calling CQ on 40. So that'd be fun. 7135. Okay, 7135. Lower sideband. Yep, here I am. Let me put the audio of the SDR. So here we are. This is 7135 lower sideband right now. We'll see if we hear anything. You guys hear my voice well, even though there's some there's the SDR over it? I'm going to see if we can hear Kimberly. Cool, thanks. Thanks, Matt and Robert. It's kind of nice to be able to have both audio at the same time. Love the console thing. It's funny because hey, throat punch. It's funny because somebody asked me the other day after the last show when we were okay. I didn't hear anything on 7135, Kimberly. You know what? It was 10:39, so you're at what 7:39 p.m. Are you in darkness in California this time? Or nothing? So sad. I wanted to hear Kimberly's voice. Would have been nice. Anybody else wants to try a CQ on 7135 lower sideband? Gordon, no, not really. As if you just understand cabling and how it works, it's actually, you just need a good cables. All you need is just a good cables. And to actually have, because I have 8 inputs on this thing, plus Bluetooth and USB. For example, the audio from the SDR is driven through a USB cable here. The Texan PL990X through a audio cable. My microphone is plugged in with an XLR cable into the microphone jack. So depending on what I want to use, and I can use the Bluetooth. That's what I did last show. I hooked Bluetooth from my phone. So it's kind of cool. Okay, NH Olmsted, no problem. We're going to wait for you. So anybody that wants to call CQ on 40 meters, 7135 LSB. Brian Wittenheimer, nice to have you here. Hey, Jerry Markkanen, nice to have you on board from Finland, 5:40 in the morning and Thursday morning. Wow. So, Brian, you got Kimberly, K6YYL? That's cool. Matt had nothing on 7135 either. 7135 lower sideband. NH Homestead. 7135 lower sideband. We'll be listening to KB1 JCU. KB1 JCU. No problem. We're going to wait for you, NH Homestead. Kind of fun. It is kind of fun. Now that I'm hooked up properly. So while we're waiting, Somebody asked me, said, well, you know, you ended the show with that song. Didn't you get a copyright strike? I don't know why. That Russian Radio Moscow night song never rings a copyright infringement. As if nobody or whoever did a copyright notice on it never did anything. Hey, Matambali, nice to have you here. 7135 requires advanced or extra class, by the way. Yeah, like Robert says, I'll listen, but I can't return the call. My ticket isn't good for 40 meters. Or at least for 7135. Old radio man. You're not seeing your traffic on my SDR? I'm not hearing anything right now. Not a lot of stuff tonight on 40. I'm surprised. Not a lot of stuff on 40 tonight. Compared to many other nights where there's a lot of traffic. How about, if it doesn't work, how about we try 80 meters? Anybody wants to try 80 meters with something? We'll tune 80 meters after if nothing works. Oh, really? RJDA? It's over 100 years old. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was so old. I love it. It's such a beautiful song. I like it. I love that Midnight in Moscow song. We're gonna end the show tonight with the same song. It's too much fun. I like that. So while we're seeing if we can hear anything. Hey, Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you here from Greenfield Park. So NH Olmsted 7214. Okay. 7214. Here we go. Well, just call. I'm tuned. 7214 lower sideband. Take care, Bobby Burgess. It's nice to have you on board. If you have several bases in San Diego, Throat Punch, do you have a scanner radio that goes to 200 megahertz? So 7214 lower sideband. Let's try for our friend here. KB1 JCU is the call sign. How about you guys find an 80 meter frequency? Anybody wants to call CQ on 80 meters? We're going to go down to 80 meters if we don't hear anything on 40. Find yourself a frequency that has nothing, and we're going to try it. Oh, that's sad, James Johnson. No, the Throat Punch. The airband, military airband from 225 to 400 megahertz has tons and tons of, if you have a lot of flying planes from the base, you'll have a lot of military comms still in the clear in AM mode from 225 to 400 megahertz. Joe, a while back you had a vid on FM radio stations uplinks. You mean do you? I don't hear anything here. (7214) lower sideband. I'm not hearing anything. Maybe we could try 80 meters. Do you mean satellites, Joe? Brian is hearing you on 7214 lower sideband. Okay, let's do 80. What frequency do you guys want to choose? It's up to you guys. Choose a general class frequency so that everybody can participate if they want to. We'll try to listen in. And while everybody tries to agree on a frequency, what we're going to do, I'm going to tune slowly the 80 meter band and see what's on. Hey, Prasad, mobile battery gone now. I have to charge. Take care, Prasad. Always nice to have you on board. I expect that 3:30 unboxing will be coming Saturday. Let's hope. Let's hope. So let's tune in with the Texan PL990 on the 80 meter band for now.
The racket that they run. So I guess the FBI agents themselves are really not much different than the leadership. I guess because of their, what they haven't.
3928.
But anyway, back to the.
So we'll try it with the Texan PL990X. 3928 lower sideband. We are going to listen in to any stations calling CQ, including our friend here, NH Umstead.
This is Kilo Bravo 1, Juliet Charlie Uniform. Kilo Bravo 1, Juliet Charlie Uniform calling CQ for the official.
Oh, that's a good one. Kilo Bravo 1, Charlie Juliet Uniform. Hearing it really well. Really well. And that's on the Texan PL990X using the W6 LVP loop.
You're doing a great job with the show tonight, and I gotta put the radio here, shortwave, what do you call it, your YouTube station down so I can transmit here. But I'm on 3928, and glad that the signal is coming through here.
Wow, this is so cool. We are hearing our friend in New Hampshire here. This is really nice. So 80 meters is making it up to here in Montreal.
Is there another station that's coming through? I'm actually demonstrating AM radio, shortwave radio, for a YouTube channel called the Official SWL Channel, and he's got a huge following. And people wanted to know if anybody could actually go on frequencies to see, they could actually get a transmission.
And this is on the SDR with the MLA 30.
And the gentleman that's running the show right now is called the Live Shortwave Official SWL. Numerous followers, and so pretty cool. It's really cool stuff. That sounds pretty interesting. Yeah. Running about 450 watts on gate 2 right here.
You know, it's interesting because I'm comparing the 990X, Texan PL990X with the SDR Play RSPDX, and they both are receiving pretty much the same signal, same signal level. The only difference is the audio quality of both receivers. So this is the PL990X. This is the SDR Play RSPDX. 990X is on the W6LVP.
Great job, and not sure if the gentleman in Montreal on the Shortwave official WSL channel in Montreal can still hear.
Yes, absolutely. And the
Doing a great job coming in from your location as well.
RSPDX with the MLA30. This is nice. We are hearing both stations really well. Really is nice. Rufus Newt, 3928, coming in well into the Laurentian Valley, Ontario. This is really cool.
All right, so I just received confirmation that I'm able to be, we're actually being heard in Montreal. And
Yeah, absolutely.
heard really well in the Laurentian Valley as well, which is a great thing. And even in Pittsburgh right now, I'm being heard really well. So excellent. If there's anybody else on frequency, the frequency, I should say, frequency 3928, feel free to...
Robert Chan got him on the Alenco FT450.
We'll relay it to the gentleman on the official SWL channel.
3928 lower sideband, RJDA Dakota. 3928 lower sideband. RJDA Dakota, very weak in Winsville, Missouri. Robert Chine picking you guys up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Matambale says it's very faint in Colorado. This is so much fun. This is so much fun. Really cool to have a console to be able to Neon Dion, nice to have you here from Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. Nice to have you here.
Frequency, love to give a live demonstration of what ham radio is all about, and what we can do to help progress the hobby here.
Sean Harvey, you can get a QSL from him. Alpha Charlie 4 Romeo Victor. AC4 RV. Johnson City, Tennessee. You got New Hampshire and Tennessee now. Yep, so Tennessee and New Hampshire, both stations, AC4 station in Tennessee. Very, very good signal here. A little bit of fade out now. It's not as strong. There's a little bit of fade out. Yeah, I love your setup. I'm a SDR novice. Brett, love the concept. Also a unlicensed ham listener. Peace to you, and love your channel. Thank you very much. Welcome from New Brunswick, Canada. Really cool to be able to have this test tonight. So there's a lot of fade out. We were hearing both stations, but a lot of fade out with the going on now. But we're still hearing the station.
the official SWL channel, are there any questions that any of the users would like me to ask?
That is nice. That is nice. And both my Texan PL990X and the SDR Play RSPDX receive our friend here in New Hampshire with a good signal. Really nice to have reception of 80 meters. The other station from Tennessee was really well heard too. Really had a good signal up here. Really cool. Getting weaker though.
People are very curious on how ham radio works, and more people want to get more information.
This is so cool. KB1 JCU. And the name is Dave. So it's really nice. Really nice. There's a little bit of fade out, but we are receiving our friend. So you're watching the Shortwave show from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And we are listening to a ham radio station, KB1 JCU, Kilo Bravo 1, Juliet, Charlie, Uniform. And he's broadcasting on 3928 Lower Sideband, calling CQ to any stations. Really a lot of fun. Really a lot of fun. Yeah, why not? Another CQ. You just received a CQ.
Excellent. So right now, YouTube channel called the official SWL channel, and he's giving a lesson on users who are listening to the live show right now who have an interest in this subject. And I volunteered, happy to do it. Happy to do it, I should say. And trying to get more people involved.
More active, I think, usually, but I just have to be up late tonight. So, late. Good day.
My wife being in Detroit, and this is Mediumwave and Shortwave here in Holliston, New Hampshire. Doing a great job in this evening. Thank you for coming in. And well past my bedtime. Not up this late, but yeah, I think we could just download some people here. But
This is a lot of fun.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Steve Miller says, love it, Jill. This is something Art Bell would have done. Hey, Tom the Xer, take care. 73, stay safe. Don't forget, Saturday is the next show. Thanks, by the way, NH Olmsted, for also not just making contacts, but trying to promote the official SWL channel. It's really, really appreciated. And this is so cool. So, we need to do more of this, of stations on the air and trying to get as much people together. This is really, really cool. No problem, Robert Chan. Please tune for 625. Okay, let's try it again. 4625 upper sideband. It's there. It's not very strong, but it's there. It's not very strong, but it's there. Let's try it on the Texan PL990X. Can I get, that would be a first, getting the buzzer on a portable radio. I think this would be the first time ever I get a buzzer on a portable. Can I hear it? Not getting it. But very weak, but it's not the same antenna. Not the same antenna. So kind of cool. Kind of cool. Neon Dion says, I still have 40 channel CB radio in my truck and monitor frequencies. Am I the only one who still uses the Citizens Band radio? Hey, I got several CBs here. And honestly, if there'd be people to talk to, I'd be still using them. I got a 102-inch antenna on the floor here that I need to put up. That'd be nice. So, thanks everybody for an amazing show. 3 hours and 4 minutes. 2 minutes here because I was late. Thanks for everything. Thank you, our friend NH Homestead, for the fantastic KB1 JCU contacts you made on 80 meters. Was so much fun, and we need to do more of that. And what's nice is that with the console, as you guys see, there's so many more possibilities, and it's so flexible what we can do with the live shows, because now I can just feed the audio and everybody knows what I'm listening to and so on. So thank you so much, hey, Jason Francis. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight. I think it was a lot of fun to do. And you know what? How about we sign off with the official interval signal from last show, which was a lot of fun, and I really truly enjoy and brings me back in time all the time. So let me see here if I'm connected or not. Audio output says that I'm connected. So here we go, guys. It was a great time tonight. Thanks so much for the participation. Thanks so much for being here. I mean, without you guys, there wouldn't be a show, and it wouldn't be the same. So I'm saying goodbye for tonight. Stay safe. And we're going to be back Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 20 hours Universal Time. And as we close the show, Mr. Paul will be the accompanying image. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. See you Saturday.